quite an about turn on how he was introduced to the Guptas. Of course, he previously denied even meeting them. And in a recently released video, as you saw there, he admits that it was in fact the Northwest Premier who introduced him, and he exonerates former President Jacob Zuma for any of his involvement with the family. And he claims he was taken there by Premier Supra Mahumapelo. And Maine has spoken of unity and keeping the ANC clean in a veiled admission that perhaps the organization could be tainted. Now, we're joined on the line by political analyst Professor Andre Duvenage to unpack the latest developments between the one-time friends and political allies. Good evening to you. Supra Mahumapelo has been known to be a strong supporter of former President Jacob Zuma, but it now seems that effectively Collen Maine is throwing him under the bus.
Good evening, Bongani. Yes, indeed, it seems to be the case. We must take into consideration it's a few days before the motion of no confidence that was tabled by the EFF against Mr. Supra Mahumapelo. So the timing is very interesting, but talking about alliances, you're quite right. Collen Maine for long was a very strong supporter of Mr. Supra Mahumapelo, but that changed fundamentally in recent times. At the moment, he is clearly positioned with David Mabuza and the Ramaphosa line, and therefore this specific viewpoint he presented. My take on it is, however, that it's all about timing before the motion of no confidence.
But he's obviously walking quite a tightrope here because whilst distancing himself from the Premier, he's exonerated the former President, Jacob Zuma, saying he had nothing to do with whatever connections he might have had with the Gupta family.
Yes, indeed, that seems to be the case, and we know that Mr. Supra Mahumapelo is a very powerful person here in Northwest ANC politics, but at the moment, we must also say that there are major challenges within the province. The province is falling apart at the moment. The ANC are not ready in preparations for the elections. At least 3 of their districts are in complete disarray. So in that sense, I think Mr. Mahumapelo is vulnerable, and therefore the repositioning of Collen Maine. My take on it is that I will be surprised if Mr. Supra Mahumapelo survives very long as Premier. I believe there's going to be changes in Northwest rather sooner than later.
Well, I mean, let's just talk about the immediate concern. How will that motion of no confidence go in the Premier? I mean, can he survive that? Until now, it's always been seen that he's really the strong man of the Northwest Province. Is his position under threat through this motion?
Yes, I think his position is under threat, although you are also quite right. He is powerful, he is influential, and he can do the political survival game. But I read it within the caucus of the ANC at the moment. There are strong support for the motion of no confidence, and we know that opposition parties, DA, EFF, will definitely support it. So I think it is difficult times for Mr. Mahumapelo, and then if he is lucky and he survives this motion of no confidence, then I believe at the end of the day, his position will also be in trouble as a result of the ability of the president to make appointments in this position. At the moment, Mr. Mahumapelo is still aligning himself with Zuma, Ishmael and others, fighting the Ramaphosa camp from within the ANC. So I believe that Mr. Ramaphosa will probably in the near future take action against his opponents.
If he doesn't survive, you've spoken of a province in disarray. We know, of course, a number of legal issues have been brought up in recent times. I mean, how much trouble could he be in even if he loses the premiership legally?
Well, I think if he loses the position of Premier, this is only the beginning of his trouble. You are quite right. There are a number of court cases and investigations going on, according to my understanding, and we will see the outcome of this, but I believe that he was implicated, at least indirectly, in some of these cases. So I think his trouble is only going to begin when he's ending his position as Premier. I believe the Gupta links are there, and I know about a lot of problems within the Department of Health as well as the Department of Social Development at this point in time. So it's going to be difficult for Mr. Mahumapelo and his loyalists.
On the other hand, how much credence can anything Collen Maine be given? Because until now, in fact, he's denied even meeting the Guptas. So when he comes out now and blames the Northwest Premier, I mean, do we not just laugh at that?
I think some will laugh at it without any doubt. But on the other side, he is still the leader of the Youth League of the ANC. That is a very influential position. I agree completely that he's not a leader on the same level as, for example, the Julius Malemas of the world, but at least he can mobilize support. They are influential also in the build-up to the 2019 election. We must take into consideration there's a lot of pressure on Ramaphosa to deliver in terms of the coming election, and I believe that he will keep Collen Maine close to him, although maybe he is not as effective and efficient as people would like to see.
Right, we'll all see how it unfolds. Professor Andre Duvenage there on the line, political analyst, telling us about the situation in the Northwest.